Sir, now like, sir.
नमस्ते, स्वागतं सर्वेभ्यः। वैदिक प्रार्थनया सह अस्य कार्यक्रमस्य आरम्भः। Let us start the meeting, the lecture with the वैदिक प्रार्थना. Badri sir.
ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः, भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः, स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः, स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः, स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः, स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम
नमस्कारः। पंजाबपुरीस्थ शास्त्र मानित विश्वविद्यालयस्य ओरिएंटल स्टडीज एंड रिसर्च राज्य अध्ययन संशोधन विभाग द्वारा संचाल्यमाने अस्मिन् संस्कृत दिवस महोत्सवे तदंगतया प्रचाल्यमानायाम् उपन्यास श्रृंखलायां च भागं गृहीतुं युष्मान् सर्वान् अपि अहं स्वागतीकरोमि। सर्वेभ्यः अहं मम हार्दं स्वागतं व्याहरामि। विशिष्य संस्कृत सप्ताहस्य प्रथमं दिनम् एकमासव्यापिनी भवति इयम् उपन्यास श्रृंखला। तत्र सप्तसु दिनेषु विविध दिनेषु विविध विषयेषु विविध वक्तारः विद्वांसः आगत्य अस्मान् स्वीय भाषणेन अनुग्रहीष्यन्ति। अस्याः श्रृंखलायाः नाम श्रुतिजालमार्गणम् इति नाम दत्तमस्ति। अस्माकं विभागस्य पूर्वतन अध्यक्षाः ये अध्यक्षचराः कण्णन् महाशयाः आसन्, तैः आरब्धा इयं परिपाटी। तस्याः एव परिपाट्याः द्वितीये सत्रे वयम् अद्य अस्मिन् शोभकृन् नाम संवत्सरे श्रावण पूर्णिमा दिने सायं शुभे मुहूर्ते सर्वे वयं समवेताः। अत्र भवन्तः सर्वेपि अस्माकं शास्त्र मानत विश्वविद्यालयस्य डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन द्वारा MA संस्कृतं पठन्ति, MA दिव्य प्रबन्धं पठन्ति, पूर्वमपि पठित्वा बहिर्गताः इदानीं पठन्तो विद्यमानाः छात्राः, पठिष्यमाणाः इति बहूनाम् अत्र सान्निध्यम् अस्माभिः काङ्क्षितं वर्तते। सर्वेपि समवेताः सन्ति इति अहं वितर्कयामि। अतः शुभे अस्मिन् संवत्सरे समवेतेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः युष्मभ्यम् अहं हार्दं प्रथमं स्वागतं व्याहरामि। भवन्तः सर्वेपि जानन्ति, शास्त्रमानत विश्वविद्यालयः यद्यपि इंजीनियरिंग टेक्नोलॉजी इत्यादिषु विषयेषु एव अत्यन्तं प्रभुत्वम् आवहति, ऑल इंडिया NIRF रैंकिंग मध्ये अस्य 49th रैंक अस्ति ऑल इंडिया स्तरे। एवं लॉ मध्ये 16 स्थाने वयं स्मः। इंजीनियरिंग मध्ये वयं अत्यन्तम् उन्नते स्थाने स्मः। एवं एकैकस्मिन् अपि अंशे वयं भारतीय विद्यमानासु सर्वकलाशालासु अत्यन्तं वयं अग्रगण्याः वर्तामहे तमिळुनाडुराज्यतः इति वयं सगर्वं वक्तुं शक्नुमः। तादृश विश्वविद्यालयेन संस्कृतविभागः अपि चाल्यते। यद्यपि नाम संस्कृतविभागः इति नास्ति, अथापि संस्कृतज्ञाः एव अत्र भूरिशः अध्यापकाः वर्तन्ते, कार्यरताः वर्तन्ते इति कृत्वा संस्कृतविभागः इत्येव वयं मन्तुं शक्नुमः इति तत् सौभाग्यस्य विषयः। अतः संस्कृतसप्ताहस्य अस्य महोत्सवस्य प्रथमे दिने अस्माकं पुरतः वेदान्तत्रयस्यापि परिचयं स्थूलशः दत्वा कुत्र कुत्र अंशे सर्वेपि वेदान्ताः साम्यं भजन्ति, कुत्र कुत्र तत्र शाखाः प्रभिद्यन्ते इत्येवं विषये अस्मान् प्रबोधयितुं महाविद्वांसः चेन्नईस्थ रामकृष्ण मिशन विवेकानंद विद्यालयस्य अध्यक्षचराः, संस्कृतविभागाध्यक्षचराः, प्रांशुपालचराश्च Prof.K.Srinivasan महोदयः अत्र अस्माकं पुरतः सम्प्राप्ताः सन्ति। तेषां कृतेपि अहं मम हार्दं कृतज्ञतापूर्वकं धन्यवादम् अहं समर्पयामि। आरम्भे एव, यतः एते अस्माकं क्षणम् अङ्गीकृत्य आरम्भे एव अहम् अवश्यम् आगत्य छात्रान् सर्वान् अपि आशिषा वर्धयिष्यामि इति अस्मान् आश्वासितवन्तः। अतः तेभ्यः अहं प्रथमं नमस्कारपूर्वकं कृतज्ञतां धन्यवादं च समर्प्य तेषामपि हार्दं स्वागतं व्याहरामि। भवन्तः सर्वेपि जानन्ति, अस्माकं विभागद्वारा गत 11-12 संवत्सरेभ्यः MA परीक्षाः चाल्यन्ते। दूर डिस्टेंस एजुकेशन, दूरस्थविद्या इति नाम्ना वयं पठामः। अथापि अत्रत्याः सर्वेपि बहुषु विषयेषु बहु नैपुण्यमपि प्राप्तवन्तः इति अहं पूर्वं श्रुतवान्। इदानीम् अत्र आगत्य 5 मासाः अतीताः। यावती अहं बहूनां विषये अहं पत्रपरीक्षणसमयेपि अहं दृष्टवान् अस्मि। बहु सम्यक् जनाः विषयं गृहीत्वा परीक्षामपि लिखन्ति। अतः अत्रत्य अध्यापन स्टाण्डर्ड्, अध्ययन स्टाण्डर्ड् एतत् सर्वमपि अत्यन्तं समीचीनम् अस्ति इति वयं सगर्वं वक्तुं शक्नुमः। भवतां ज्ञानाभिवृद्ध्यर्थमेव संस्कृतसप्ताहे भवद्भिः पठ्यमानेभ्यः विषयेभ्यः एव शीर्षकानि वयम् उद्धृत्य दत्वा विदुषां मुखतः वयं तत् श्रावयामः। अतः सर्वं श्रुत्वा भवन्तः सर्वेपि नोट्स् अपि स्वीकुर्वन्तु। उपन्यास अन्ते वयं द्वित्रान् प्रश्नान् अपि पृच्छामः वाट्साप् द्वारा। तस्य प्रत्युत्तरं सम्यक् ये दास्यन्ति तेषाम् अपि प्रोत्साहनं विशेषतः अनन्तरं भविष्यति इत्यपि अहम् अत्र वक्तुम् इच्छामि। अतः सर्वेपि सावधानं स्थित्वा उपन्यासां सर्वमपि आन्तं श्रुत्वा लाभान्विताः भवेयुः इति प्रार्थनया सह अहं श्रीनिवासमहोदयम् अनुरुन्धे ते स्वीय भाषणेन सह अस्मान् सर्वान् अपि कटाक्षीकुर्वन्तु इति। धन्यवादः।
Thank you, Sri Venugopal. सर्वेषामपि युष्माकं विश्वसंस्कृतदिन शुभाशयाः। यस्य प्रसादात् मुकोऽपि वावदूकोऽभिजायते भाष्यभावज्ञ विख्यातः सद्गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम्। पंडितानां च राजानं शास्त्रे रत्नाकरोपमं बालपूर्वं गुरुं वन्दे सुब्रह्मण्याभिधं मुदा। श्रीशंकर रामानुज मध्वाचार्य अवातरन्नत्र ये किल सोपानततिं निरमासिषतमुक्तिसौधमधिरोढुम्. This is generally we say, that is, all the great teachers have incarnated. They are not born. They are the incarnation, and they have incarnated, and they have, as Krishna has said in his Bhagavad Gita, dharma samsthapanarthaya. This is in order to know our real dharma, the Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is way to moksha, way to final beatitude and bliss. That is Sanatana Dharma. It is not just something, it is a marga. It is pravritti marga as well as nivritti marga. So the way to beatitude and bliss that is being given, and they have established it. And they have not only established it by means of just instructions or by means of revelations, but they themselves have not incarnated in this particular world, and they have behaved, they conducted themselves, they followed the acharas just like any other people, and said the ways and the goal and how we have to conduct ourselves. That's why they are great. And all the three are, not only all the three, there are nearly about 27 commentaries. So there are about 27 systems, and plus all the systems, that is all the Darshanakaras, that is at least the Vedanta Darshanakaras. We have to take all of them are referred to by this verse, even though we refer to as Shankara Ramanuja Madhvacharya. That means it is Veda, Abheda, and Veda Veda Darshana. So all the three types of systems are being referred to, and all the acharyas are being referred to there. Like that we have to take Sro Sri Shankara Ramanuja Madhvacharya Avataran Atra. They have incarnated. And what did they do? Sopanatatim. Sopanatatim means stairs. They have Niramasishata. They have constructed the stairs. Mukti Saudham Adirodum, to climb to the mansion of moksha. So this is how. And now we have to understand, because for academic interest, for all practical interest, we have to know what are the different systems, how these systems, all of them are called Vedanta, how all these systems, when they differ so much among themselves, how all of them are called Vedanta, what are the points where they agree, and what are the points where they disagree. So these are the things which we have to know. And in order to know all these things, this lecture has been, not everything to the extent possible, this lecture has been arranged. And I thank the authorities of Shastra University and the staff of the Department of Oriental Studies for inviting me to give this first lecture. In fact, the Srutijala Marganam, when the scheme was started, even at the commencement, the very first lecture was given by me. I gave the history of prose literature in Sanskrit. So that inaugural lecture also was given by me when Professor Kannan was the head of the department here. And now let us go into the topic. And these are called darshana. The word darshana is very important. Say the philosophy is not necessarily and essentially armchair philosophy. Philosophy has to be used in our day-to-day life, not only in religious life, in other lives also, in other walks of our life also, the philosophy is useful, it is applicable. So that's why it is called darshana. The word darshana comes from the root drish. Drish means to see. It is generally known everybody. I'm not dilating on that, but just I am referring to in order to show the importance. Drish. What is the meaning of drish? Drish is the root. From the root in the Sanskrit, words are derived from roots. Roots means base. That is root in the tree. Tree is visible outside, but the tree is sustained by the root. Root is within the earth. Root is not visible. So as the root of a tree is not visible, the basic element of a word is not visible. From the basic element, the words are derived. The words may be verbs or the words may be nouns. Words may be both types of words, but they are derived from roots generally. So one root is drisa. The root drisa is used in the sense of seeing. When you study in schools and colleges, when you study Sanskrit, they will start teaching you drispas to see. Dris has got another alternate form called pashyati. So drispas to see in the sense of seeing. So now, what are the nouns that can be derived from the root dris? Drishyate, that which is being seen. So it can refer to an object, the object seen. Drishyate anena, the objects which help see a particular object, the instrument which helps see an object. So in both sense, so darshana can refer to the object that is seeing, that is the truth, and the instrument which help us realize the truth. Both these things can be referred to by the word darshana. So, and what can be the real truth? The real truth can only be, say, definition of a real truth. How can you take a real truth? Real truth should give you something which always be giving you the happiness. The real truth should not make you suffer. The real truth should not make you want something else later. It should not set you in the course of search. So the real truth is ultimate end. It is the ultimate aim. It is the ultimate goal. So this is how we take it as the real truth. So the real source of knowledge which leads to the real truth. So that can be finally, even though darshana can be used in ordinary sense of the word to refer to ordinary worldly objects, yet in real sense of the term, it can refer only to the ultimate truth, not only the ultimate truth, but also the correct source of knowledge which can lead us to the ultimate truth. That becomes an important aspect. So that becomes more important. So what can be the ultimate truth? We have to look into what we are searching for. Generally, all our searches can be shortlisted or brought down to three things. One is everyone want existence, that is existential crisis, as they say. That is, we want to exist always, we want to find eternity, things like that. Exist, don't want to say. When you even look into a road, on both sides, what do we see? Whether vehicles are coming or not, vehicles should not crash against us, we should not fall victim to that. So we want existence, that is one thing. And we also want knowledge, that is, nothing should be unknown to us, because we feel if something is unknown to us, we may be cheated, we may suffer, we may, what is called later on, suffer various difficulties. So nothing should be concealed or veiled from us, everything should be known to us. So the knowledge is more important. And third important aspect is happiness, bliss. So these are the three things. All our searches, all our problems can be brought down to these three things, namely existence, knowledge, bliss. So this is what is simply said, and this is our ultimate goal. This is what we are searching. This is presented as the ultimate goal. Everybody says, everybody agree this. So Sat Chit Ananda, Sat Chit Ananda. So Satchidanandam. This is what is presented in Taittiriya Upanishad 2. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Anantam stands for Anandam. So Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So if the ultimate truth is referred to as Brahma, Brahma is the supreme thing, or the all-pervasive thing, or the transcendental thing, or beyond which there is nothing. So if you take Brahman as that, that can be the end and goal of all our search. That can be the goal, end of our goal, or end of our search. So that is defined as Brahman, and that is referred to as Brahman, and that is defined as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So if Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, then what is that Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam? That is the important thing. So how can we know it? If it is a transcendental thing, that's the most important thing, because if it is something within the world, if it is something within the universe, if it is something within the material object, if it is reachable by material knowledge, then what will happen? Nothing in this world can be eternal. Eternal in the sense permanent goal. That is, I mean, it is the end of it. Like that we will not be, because always an improvement is possible. Improvement is always possible. Today's knowledge is transgressed by, in fact, if you take a science, the definition of very definition, say the Vedanta does not deal with material things. Even though we refer to material things are not referred to as final, important, basic instrument and knowledge, because material things are known by today's knowledge. Tomorrow's knowledge may, what is called, change the knowledge, or tomorrow's knowledge may, what is called, annul our today's knowledge of material things. So what happens? Science is generally defined as falsifiability and verifiability. These are the two things, falsifiability and verifiability. That is, today's knowledge may not be true tomorrow. So tomorrow's knowledge may cross today's knowledge. So this sort of, that is what we say, tomorrow's knowledge, improved knowledge should be able to cross today's knowledge. And we should be able to, everyone should be able to verify it. But these two are not there in the ultimate goal. If these two things are available, that is falsifiability and verifiability, if these two things are available, according to our definition, according to traditional definition, they says to be ultimate at all. Because ultimate means it should not be falsifiable at all. If it is falsifiable, it cannot be ultimate. So the falsifiability and verifiability cannot be there. So now what happens? How we can know it? So all material things are within the realm of worldly knowledge, and how can we know the ultimate thing? That cannot be through mere worldly knowledge. Worldly knowledge may not be sufficient to know it. So what happens? That information is given by Vedas. That's why we call Veda Prasthanatraya. It is called important things. Veda means not only Veda. Veda is essentially Vedic literature, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishads, all those things, and Rigyaja, Sama, Atharva. But all Vedic literature also, that is Smriti, Itihasa, Purana, everything is included. All Vedas and the literature which are based on Veda, they constitute Vedic knowledge. So one particular aspect is Vedic knowledge, and another particular aspect is the secondary literature. தமிழ்ல சொன்னா வழிவந்த நூல்கள், வழி நூல்கள், முதல் நூல்கள், வழி நூல்கள்னு சொல்லுவோம். முதல் நூல்னா Vedic knowledge, வழி நூல்கள்னா ஸ்மிருதி, இதிகாச, புராணா, etc. All those things. And logic. We have to apply our own logic also, because our mind cannot accept something dogmatic. If you dictate something, mind will not take it. Mind requires something logically applicable to it. So these three things, that is the primary sources and the secondary sources, are the sources which follow the primary sources, and the logical establishment. These three are called the three ways to know the ultimate. So they are called Prasthanatraya. This sort of Prasthanatraya is very important. And now, when these three Prasthanatrayas are important, Vedic knowledge is one thing, and the secondary knowledge, namely Smriti, Itihasa, Puranas, etc., one thing. But we being human beings, the logic plays a predominant role here, because our mind does not accept something blindly. Even though we say it is Vedic sentence, etc., we try to interpret and try to understand the way in which we can be at peace, we can be at rest, we can feel convenient. So the logic also plays a basic role. That's why definitions they play a role, and then based on definitions, people proceed. And how this ultimate is placed? Now, the important point here is how we can take the ultimate. The ultimate, they say, it is transcendental. And when it transcends everything, nothing can be there. It is not delimited by, it cannot be delimited by anything. It should not be delimited by anything. If it is delimited by something, then it becomes partite. That is, it will accept parts. When it accepts parts, then automatically diffusion of parts or separation of parts, that means destruction, fading, famishing, and all those things will happen. So it should be impartite, it should be partless, it should be all pervasive, transcendental, and all those things. That's why Veda defines, that is Taittiriya Upanishad defines this ultimate as yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvisanti. That is that from which everything come into existence, that by which everything is sustained, that unto which everything merge finally. Because we see all the objects are not eternal and final. All the objects are finite, they are being produced. So when the objects are produced, they must come out of some cause. They cannot exist in vacuum. They cannot come into existence from vacuum. So they must be coming from some cause. So all the objects from which they come into existence, all the objects by which they are sustained, and all the objects unto which they finally merge, that should be that what is called the infinite thing, or that should be the final cause, or that should be the ultimate. This is how it is being defined. So it is called yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisamvisanti tad vijignyasasva tad brahmeti. That is the Brahman, that is the ultimate. That is the ultimate cause. That is the end and aim of the human search. That's how they have defined. And now, what is this object? We say that is Brahman. Now, the Brahman transcends everything. When Brahman transcends everything, remember, when Brahman transcends everything, it transcends time, space, and definition in terms of matter. It transcends space, time, and definitions in terms of matter. That means we will not be able to define it, we will not be able to communicate it, we will not be able to understand it. That's why Upanishad says, Etad apramayam. This is beyond our knowledge. This is not an object of knowledge. Not only that, the famous definition of description of Dakshinamurti, Chitram Vadataror Mule, Vriddha Shishya Guru Riva, Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam. This is communicated by means of silence because it is not an object of communication. So it is what is called the appearance of a flash. This is how we have to, even Gita, Kathopanishad, etc. They speak Ascharyavat Pasidi Kaschidhanam. All these things are beyond our knowledge. This is how it is being communicated. But all these things okay. But now the problem is whether our logic, because now what we present is Vastu Kala Paricheda, Desa Paricheda, and Vastu Paricheda. When it transcends these three things, that object cannot be delimited. Paricheda means delimitation. It cannot be delimited by Kala. That is, it is not restricted by time. It is beyond time. So you cannot say it existed on one time, it does not exist now. It will exist later. It is existing. You cannot say it exists always. And you cannot say it exists here, it does not exist there, or it exists there, it does not exist here. So it is all pervasive. And it cannot be defined in terms of matter too. Vastu Paricheda. Thus there are Desha Paricheda, Vastu Paricheda, and Kala Paricheda. That which is not defined by these three Parichedas, that happens to be that ultimate cause. That ultimate happen to be the ultimate goal. That happen to be the one thing. By knowing that, we can know everything. The Upanishad says, I'm not going into all those details. That is in Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka, etc. That is the ultimate, by knowing which everything else can be known. It is presented. In Taittiriya, it is presented as the cause of everything, like that. So let us take. That is the ultimate thing. That is how the Upanishads present this particular thing. So Upanishad, being revealed text, that alone is capable of, because Pratyaksha and Anumana, both of them are within the realm of the human beings. Pratyaksha is only sense object, sense perception. That is, when you apply your sense organs can observe, or sense organs can comprehend only the objects which are existing and presented to the sense organs. Sense organs cannot comprehend the objects which are not presented to it. So sense organs must essentially comprehend the objects presented to it. And they can give you vivid knowledge about it. Very vivid knowledge. That is, you get a direct knowledge. This vivid knowledge, in Sanskrit terms, it is called Vaisadhya. It is called a direct knowledge. But now what happens when Anumana can give you something unknown. Unknown means not totally unknown. It should be a cause and effect. So when the cause is known and when the cause is right, you can guess the appearance. Say when there is what is called clouds are there. The clouds are dark clouds are there, and it is what is called cold wind is wafting and all those things. Then you can guess it is going to be raining. So when you are going out, take an umbrella with you, like that. So from the cause you can guess a result, or from the result you can guess a cause in this way. So cause and effect are sometimes associations. From association, when the cranes are there, wherever there are cranes, there must be some rivers or source of water nearby, like that. So an Anumana can give you some information which is known to you through Pratyaksha already. So Pratyaksha and Anumana, they actually help you know things which are known, not totally unknown things. So what is the role of an unknown thing? The unknown thing should be the realm of then a third pramana. The unknown thing should be the realm of that pramana. That is, now we say the Shabda Pramana. Because when I dictate someone, do this, that the bring the cow, the famous example, bring the cow. The cow is not at the shed, cow shed, the cow is not there. So I ask somebody to bring the cow to the shed. So the cow which is not there, it is to be fetched. Hence I am asking somebody to fetch the cow. So what is not there, it is being brought about. So if some new thing is to be brought about, to be brought into existence, then Shabda Pramana can be employed. So the existing things are revealed by Pratyaksha. The past things or future things which are connected to the existing things are revealed by Pratyaksha. If something to be brought into existence, that is conveyed by Shabda. So we say these are the three Pramanas. Now, Brahman, which transcends all these things, how can it be communicated? So that's why we say Veda. But now the Mimamsakas come into existence. They say Veda can communicate things which are to be brought into existence. Hence, the Brahman cannot be the subject matter of Veda. The Brahman cannot be the main aim and main idea and the main goal or the main target of Veda. So Veda can only be Dharma. Dharma is to be brought into existence. So Dharma alone can be communicated by Veda. This is what Mimamsakas say. But how can the ultimate be searched? Because unless we know the ultimate, then what will happen? It will be a vicious samsara. We will be go on what is called in the, just like merry-go-round. We can say merry-go-round, but it is not a merry-go-round. It is a sorrow-go-round, because samsara will be just go on what is called entangling ourselves in some sort of sufferings. When it is going to be like that, how can we get away from this particular suffering? Is there no way at all? Now, if we know that particular ultimate, and then if the goal is searched, when there is no end for our, that is when there is no further need for search, there should be end of everything. So that should be the final beatitude and bliss that can be searched. So the Mimamsa also is Vedic logic. We can call it Vedic logic. Nyaya can be called worldly logic, whereas Mimamsa can be called Vedic logic. But all these subjects are called the Vidyasthana. Vidyasthana, what is the meaning of Vidyasthana? Vidya means knowledge. They say Vidya Vedanam. Vedanam means knowledge. Knowledge is not any knowledge like Gata. Knowledge is the real knowledge, but it should be the knowledge. That knowledge should matter to us. That knowledge which is very important, that should be the knowledge. And that Vidyasthana can be, Vidya should be the knowledge of Brahman. Sthana means Ashraya, the source of that Brahman, and Ashraya here means Upaya, means. So Vidyasthana means Upaya for realizing that Brahman. So all the 14 Vidyasthanas are not simply source of knowledge, but they are not the different branches of knowledge, but they are the knowledge through which we can know this ultimate, the ultimate goal or the ultimate truth. So that's how. So the 4 Vedas, 6 Shastras, 6 Angas, and then Mimamsa, Nyaya, etc. are there. So now what happens? Vedanta. Vedanta becomes essentially Adhyatmika Vidya. Here they say Mimamsa and Nyaya. Mimamsa essentially is Artha Vidya. It concentrates more on the subject matter. That is how Veda Yaga is to be performed, what exactly, how it is Yaga is communicated, how the methodology is communicated. All those things are dealt with by Mimamsa. Whereas Nyaya, that is the logic, that is Pramana Vidya. So now transcending this Artha, transcending this the Pramana Vidya, we have to know something through intuition or through our what is called the meditation and things like that. That is sadhana, spiritual sadhana, employing our spiritual sadhana through our soul. I use the word soul here. So through the souls, we should be able to know something. We should be able to transcend these things. So this Artha Vidya and the Pramana Vidya may be useful to us at the initial level, may be useful to us at the beginning level, but we should be able to transcend them, and through our souls, through soul searching, as they say, called soul searching. Through the soul searching, we should be able to go to the ultimate. So now it is called Adhyatma Vidya. And here another important thing we have to know, another aspect. This aspect is dealt with in Taittiriya Upanishad also. And in the beginning, Sikshavalli, they say, Adhi Yajnam, Adhi Jyotisham, Adhi Bauddham, Adhi Adi Bauddhikam, Adhyatmam, like that, they say different things. That is Adhyatma, Adi Bauddhika, Adi Daivika, Adhi Yajna. These things are dealt with. Adhi Praja. Now, what are they? We simply say Adhyatmika, etc. something. But they are different interpretational methods also. Adhyatmika means spiritual interpretations. Adi Bauddhika means natural interpretations, are seeing Vedic things. Say, for example, we see the rain is being praised. When rain is being praised, we see the rain is being praised, we take it as a poetry, or we rain god is praised. And Adi Deivam, when the rain is praised as a rain god, we take it as a Adi Deivikam. So Adi Deivikam, Adi Bauddhikam, and then Adi Yajnam. That is when it is presented in the form of a sacrifice and how to perform sacrifice, etc. Adi Yajnam. Adi Prajam in our social setup, social milieu. So Adi Prajam is taken as essentially they are all social works, they pertaining to that particular period, etc. Adhyatmika means spiritual. In this way, Veda being a revelatory text, Veda being a spiritual text, it is not presented to one particular person in one particular time in one particular period. They being universal, they have got different interpretation, they have got different possibilities to suit, to help all the people all the time. So you have got different layers of interpretations. So when you go to the soul searching, then what do? We have to do Adhyatma interpretation. Adhyatmika interpretations have to be resorted to. When you look into Adhyatmika interpretation, there also essentially our attitude will work towards it, because we cannot be different from, totally away from our mind. How much we have trained our mind, how much we have developed our mind, how much we have cultivated our mind, how much our spiritual mind has evolved. That becomes very important point. So for this point, I take only one instance from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the very famous Maitreyi Brahmana. In the Maitreyi Brahmana, Yajnavalkya, after all his successful life in the court of Janaka, and today being Shukla Yajurveda, also Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda, Shravana. Why today is called Vishwa Samskrita Dinam? Because today is the day that is Shravana Shravishta Nakshatra. Normally, Shravana is the 5th month in the lunar calendar, that is starting from Yugadi. Shravana is the 5th month, and in this 5th month, during the full moon day, Shravishta na Tamil Avittam. This Shravishta Nakshatra may be in conjunction, not exactly, not always, not perfectly. Shravishta Nakshatra may be in conjunction with the Purnima in the 5th month. That's why, and Shrona, both of them, that is Shrona is called the Thiruvanam, Shravishta is called Avittam. Both of them, either of them will be in conjunction. Predominantly Shrona will be in conjunction. And in this Shrona star, in the Shrona star, that is in the Shravana month, in the Shrona star, Lord Vishnu, or the ultimate deity, has communicated Veda to Brahma. The predominant, the Hiranyagarbham Pasyata Jayamanam, he was the first cosmic man, that is the universal cosmic soul. So to that cosmic soul, Veda was Yovai Brahmanam Vidadati Purvam, Yovai Vedamscha Prahinoti Tasmai. He who created Brahma, and to whom he has presented Veda, that is called, that day happens to be today. That's why in order to celebrate that particular day, we perform the Shravana, the ceremony of Shravana, that is rejuvenating our Vedic studies. Veda being the earliest monument, a literary monument of the human life. Of course, some people may say a few more things are there, like Gilgamesh, etc., which may precede or which may be earlier to Veda, etc., in the modern sense of the term. But for us, Veda is Apaurushaya, it is ever existing, it is always existing, and they cannot be what is called man-made or revealed. Hence, they are eternal for us. And since they, but in every creation, at the time of when Brahma comes into existence, the Lord presents Veda to him, so that Brahma, with the help of Veda, he creates the world. So now what happens, since that day happened to be today, in order to commemorate that day, that is the reception of Vedas by Brahma, we celebrate this particular day as the day of rejuvenation for our Vedic studies. This is how we have taken it. And since Vedas happen to be in Sanskrit, this day also is celebrated as a Sanskrit day. This is commemorated as a Sanskrit day. That is beside the point. And now, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad belongs to Shukla Yajurveda. In the Shukla Yajurveda, there are many important informations which are presented by means of the philosophical ideas are presented. One such story is Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya is a very main character. And Yajnavalkya, after all his successful Laukika life, he wants to renounce. And when he wants to renounce, he had two wives, Katyayani and Maitreyi, and he said, I will divide my wealth to both of you equally, and then I want to move away. Say he is giving his wealth to his wives. The females also inherited wealth. That's also a beside point. And then Maitreyi asked him the question, if the wealth cannot serve you in any way, if you are not interested in the wealth and renouncing, what is the use of this wealth? She asked me this question. Kim tena vittena aham purnasya, will I be complete? Will I be finite? Will I be total? She asked me this question. Then Yajnavalkya said, no, the wealth can get you a life of the rich person. Whatever way the rich man is happy, whatever way the rich man is worried, that sort of life alone you will have. Then I want that particular thing in search of which you are going. There Yajnavalkya said, the happiness is the most important thing for which we are going. There he said, Nava are patyuh kamaya patih priyo bhavati, atmanastu kamaya patih priyo bhavati. That is, we are, when we show our love towards somebody, we are not showing our love for the sake of that person. For our own happiness, we love somebody. So if someone loves, the love is not for the person who is loved, the love is for the person who is loving. So you have to understand, it is the selfish love or the self-love which makes people love others, and for their own sake they love others, not for others' sake. My love does not get anything from others. If I help others, that help is only for my sake, not for his own sake. For others' sake, we are not going to do anything. And then he says, and now, if I am loving somebody else for my own sake, who am I? That's the question. Who am I? How am I loving? What is that being loved, etc. Then the dialogue proceeds. And finally, when the dialogue proceeds, all these things, when the sense organs work in such a way, the sense organs, when they perform, the sense organs say, when I see through my eyes don't see. The knowledge which is there inside, the consciousness which is there inside, it makes my sense organs work. It makes my sense organs function. It makes my sense organs faculties. The consciousness make all these things faculties. So the consciousness is something. In the consciousness, it raises from all the bhutas, the pancha bhutas, of which the body is made up of, and then it remains there itself. It also subsides with that. This gives the point for Charvaka to rise. Tanyeva anuvinashyati. It dies there, he says. It subsides there. So the word subsides means the consciousness also is a byproduct. But it is not seen. What Yajnavalkya intended is, we see all these things through these faculties, but the faculties, when they don't perform, we are not aware of them, but we are aware that we are not aware also. That is the more important thing. Say, we sleep in the night. Next morning, we get up. When we get up, we say, I slept well. I did not know anything. But when you say slept well, The slept well gives you a sense of happiness. I slept happily, we say. Slept well means slept well, happy. Happiness is a feeling, and if this happiness, if you were to recall, the happiness must be a sort of experience, and the experience cannot be recollected unless you have experienced it. So the happiness must have been experienced there. But when the happiness is being experienced, you don't experience I am experiencing the happiness. So the happiness alone is there. And not only that, you are also aware of I am not aware of anything. So you must have known both ignorance as well as happiness. So this sort of consciousness that is aware of itself as happiness and not knowing also must have been there. So it must continue. So it is the one which knows everything. Vijñātāramare kena vijaniyat. So this is how the Yajnavalkya has stated. You are the knower. How can the knower be known? If the knower were to be known, will the knower be known as a subject, or will knower be known as an object? If the knower were to be known as a subject, knower is not knowing, he has to know himself. A subject cannot be an object in the same action. And if you were to know the subject, he ceases to be a subject. He is not the knower. He becomes an object. So how can you know the knower? So it is through soul searching, it is through intuition, we have to know ourselves. This is where generally the Upanishad presents. But this we have to understand in terms of our own knowledge. Here, all up to this, the points are presented in the Upanishad. I have taken only one section. Here, the points differ. Here, the Vedantas, they differ. Here, the word Atma, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. That is, for the sake of Atma, all these things become happiness. Now, who is this Atma? Whether this Atma, because we know we are individual soul, and not only we are individual soul, but we are Kinchidnya and Kinchit Alpashakta. That is, our capacities are limited, our knowledge also is limited, we are not all pervasive. We cannot be the cosmic soul. So we have become limited. And Vijñātāram Tanyeva, if the consciousness, when you look into your consciousness in the deep sleep, there is no limitation of space, time, and matter at all. So, can this Atma be that limitless consciousness? And if this Atma is that limitless consciousness, how can this Atma be limitless consciousness? Or what is the relationship between the Atma and the limitless consciousness? This is where the difference comes. Whether this Atma is that limitless consciousness, or Atma is different from the limitless consciousness, or Atma is one and the Atma is totally different from the limitless consciousness. What do we understand? How do we understand? How do we proceed? So here comes the problem. Now, the Advaitins approach this particular problem each one approaches this. I will just briefly present how the three philosophies, they present this particular thing. For the Advaitins, the Desha Paricheda and Kala Paricheda and Vastu Paricheda, these three things becomes essential and fundamental. That's the most important thing, because Brahman being the ultimate, Brahman being the cosmic soul, it should be beyond these three Parichedas, Desha, Kala, Vastu Paricheda. And if these three things are totally beyond, there cannot be any really existing, really means ultimately, really ultimately existing object on par with Brahman. So there cannot be any object existing on par with Brahman. So all the objects should be within that Brahman. So what happens? There are three things totally. As they say, philosophical triangle. Ishvara, that is Brahman, Jiva, and Jagat. So Jagat must be the creation of Brahman. Only if you accept Jagat as the creation of Brahman, there cannot be an object away from Brahman. If Jagat is independent and different, and Brahman is independent and different, there becomes two different things. And if these are two different things, there will be Vastu Paricheda. And if there is a Vastu Paricheda, automatically Kala and Desa Paricheda also will be there. And Brahman cannot be an ultimate thing. So finally, it will end up in vacuum. So the world must have come into existence. The universe must have come into existence on Brahman. And it is not coming as an object, as part is being made from mud. It is not a transformation, it is transfiguration. It is called Vivartavada. This is how world emanates from Brahman, and the instrument for that emanation is Prakriti. That is Maya. Maya is Sadasad Vilakshana. You cannot define it as either existing or non-existing. It is different from existence and different from non-existence. It is beyond logic. So it is beyond logic because that Maya, that is responsible for space-time, the emanation of space-time and matter, and our knowledge is conditioned by space-time and matter. And since we cannot understand Maya itself, it cannot be understood. It is beyond all these things. So, and the Jivan is only a manifestation. So the Jivan is only a manifestation, and this manifestation is the conditioning. So when he spiritually evolves and the conditioning is removed, he will be able to understand himself, or he will be able to see himself as Brahman. And now what happens? This is where, accepting Brahman, nothing exists. This is how nothing exists ultimately. Nothing exists, cannot be interpreted, cannot be seen, cannot be, should not be seen as nothing exists. Everything is illusion. As if world is mere illusion, nothing. It is not like that. Nothing exists ultimately. Nothing exists permanently in that sense. But now the same thing, Brahman is the cause of the world, is seen by Ramanuja also. That is Visishtadvaitins. How do they say? They say ultimately everything is part and parcel of Brahman. That is, the world and the Jiva, they form Sharira of Brahman. They form the Sharira, and the creation is the Sukshma. The Sukshma Chidachit Sharira manifesting as Stula Siddhachit Sharira. They manifest the grass form. That is, the world and Jiva manifesting in a grass form is creation, and the remaining in the subtle form is Pralaya. So now what happens? They become grass. Only that much is so part and parcel. The same. Advaitin also said everything is Brahman. Visishtadvaitin also said everything is Brahman. That Brahman being only thing, that is the part and parcel of it, Sharira Sariri Bhava, they form the whole. That's why it is called the organic monism, or called Visishtadvaita. Visishta means coupled with, united with. That is, the world and the Brahma, Jiva become united with as part. That is, as everything within our body, we have got so many things. But we don't say, I have got liver in my, I have got heart, I have got liver, I have got lungs, I have got this part, that part. So I have got so many things. We don't say I am made up of so many things. We see ourselves as a whole. Like that, everything is a organic whole. So the Advaita, the unity, the oneness is not disturbed. But that oneness does not mean, oneness means only one thing and nothing else apart from that. Oneness can mean, say for example, the king is unique, we say. Then they say the king is unique, it does not mean king is the only one person in the world. He has got his own subjects, but he is peerless. When you say unique, he is peerless, in that sense unique. So in this way, they say the uniqueness. Advaita also says unique. When Advaita says unique, it is only one thing. But when Visishtadvaita says unique, it is in the sense of peerless. Everything forms part of that. They are not independent. They are not different. They have got that. They don't have their own existence. Their existence also is derived from that. Whereas Dvaita, what they say is Prakriti, they say is important. Prakriti is equally important. Prakriti is independent, and Prakriti is responsible for the creation of this universe. But the universe of Brahman, or the uniqueness of Brahman, or the oneness of Brahman is established by the Swatantriya, the ultimate sovereignty and superiority of it. So he is the one under which everything is under his control. So in that supreme, as being a supreme controller, he becomes one, and everything they become his subjects, part of it. In this way, they become related to him. They become what is called subject to him. They become subservient to him. In this way, the oneness, basically Veda, Abheda, and Veda Veda. In this way, Advaita speaks of Abheda, Visishtadvaita speaks of Veda Veda, and Dvaita speaks of Veda. and how this oneness is established, how this oneness is understood, how this is oneness is achieved, how this oneness is realized, how this oneness is present, the way in which it is presented in the universe is realized. For this, they make use of the Mimamsa logic, the Nyaya logic, and our common sense also. It is equally important because it is ultimately we who have to understand. It is ultimately we to whom the Vedic interpretations are acceptable. It is ultimately because it is not pure dogmas. It is through our understanding we have to approach this. Hence, in this way, it becomes useful. This is how Vedantas are presented, and it is a vast subject. So many books have been, so many points, so many ideas have been presented, and to the extent possible, to my capacity and to my ability, I try to take one particular point, and in this point, I try to present the similarities and dissimilarities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. There is the one question. If I am not aware of experiencing the happiness in the deep sleep, how do I say upon waking that I have enjoyed in the sleeping state? Is the question.
We are aware of the happiness. I mean, the problem is our knowledge is always we say one. I mean, the point is very simple. I don't want to take too much of time. I will simply say Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That is Anandam. The consciousness and Anandam are not two different things. So Anandam is not an object apart from consciousness or knowledge. Anandam itself is knowledge. So when you are happy, remember, when you are happy, can you say, I am happy, but I am not aware of it? You can never say, I am happy, but I am not aware of it. So whenever you are happy, you will always be aware of it. So happiness and awareness are not different things. Happiness and awareness are one. That's what Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma means. That is another detailed subject that has to be known. That question can be answered always. It can be answered by retort. That is, as I said now. If you are happy, can you say that you are happy, but you are not aware of it?
There is another query about research aspects in this area. A few points you can share, sir. What are the research aspects of this topic?
Yesterday, not yesterday, on the, I think it is 21st or 22nd, in Kuppuswamy Sastry Research Institute, they have conducted one seminar, Art and Architecture, 2-day seminar on art and architecture. Your HOD, Venugopal, also presented a paper there on, I think, Samudrika Lakshana. And I presented a vote of thanks. That vote of thanks is available in what is called YouTube. That vote of thanks, I said, research is not, remember, we mistake nowadays what is PhD and what is research and all those things. Research is not a topic given by somebody for us to work. Research is our feeling. You go on reading. Bibliography. Bibliography is more important. In fact, when you take a PhD work, the first year will be not coursework. The first year will be bibliographical work. It is library studies. So you go on, but you take a subject and then go on reading. And while reading, you try to understand it, not simply reading, try to understand. And there you can feel areas which are not complete, or where there are lacunae, or where there are some problems, where do you not understand, etc. Then how to understand, how to fill up that lacunae, etc. You must feel. So the problems you have to feel, you have to understand, you have to realize. It is not problems which are given by somebody. So you have to feel your own. It should come from innate knowledge, innate strength, innate ideas. That's how I think research problems.
Swayam punah punah search, research idiot.
No, you read, you study. Say, not all subjects are complete. Remember, when you take a book, particular person writes a book. He takes a particular point and he develops the point. While writing the point, some of the points might have been left out. Some of the points might not have been filled up. So those points which are not filled up, we have to, when we try to understand, we have to read it clearly, try to keep it, and what are all the points which are presented, what are all the points where there are difficulties, what are all the points which are left out, unclear, lacunae are there, we have to see it, we have to understand it. That lacunae, our attempt to fill up that lacunae is research. So we have to understand the lacunae, we have to identify the lacunae. I don't want to comment further. Now research has become something,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Although the given time is not enough to cover the entire topic, Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam iti anavagatebhyah api Vishwasya Nana Pradeshat Samshruyamanebyah Shrotrubhyah Adhyatma Vidyayaha Tattva Margane Pravritanam Vedanta Trayanam api Tattvam Asmin Shrutijala Margane Etavadavasare Shravana Purnima Dine Samskrita Dina Acharanasya Vaisishtyam Prakalpya Asman Upadishtavadhyah Vidvad Agraganyebhyah Vivekananda Mahavidyalayasya Pracharyacharyebhyah Tatra Bhavabhyah Acharyebhyah Sadaram Savinayam Dhanya Naditadishcha Samapayamaha Kincha Anavaratam Asman Purogamanaya Sada Protsahya Tamupakrita Kritbhyah Asmakam Shastra Vishwavidyalayasya Kuladipatibhyah Kulapatibhyah Sankalpa Vikasana Sankaya Pramukhebhyah Green Planning and Development Plus Sachivebhyah Asmakam Sase Sankaya Pramukhebhyah DOSR Vibhaga Pracharyebhyah Saha Adhyapakebhyah Sarvebhyah Karmacharebhyah Vishishya Suchana Pradhyogiki Sankaya Pramukhebhyah IT Department of Shastra Karmacharibhyah Bhavadbyah Shrotribhyascha Hardikam Dhanyavadam Nivedayamaha Punarekavaram Sarvebhyah Samskritina Subhashishah Samarpya Punaha Dvitiye Prabhashane Milamastāvat Jayatu Bharatam Jayatu Samskritam. Happy Shravana Purnima to everyone. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya
Maya
Sarve
Sarve
Bhadrani
Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari
Thank you so much.
Om.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
thank you.